Hello, I'm Taj, digitally known as Tropic Vibes, the host of Nifty Business, where we highlight NFTs and explore Web 3.0 as we move from pure speculation to creating real-world value. So with this bear market, many opportunists that came into the space just to make a quick dollar, was just throwing anything out there, they have definitely washed out of the space. And that was sort of a good thing. I celebrated that, have been highlighting that for the most part and saying, great, a lot of that negative vibes, all that culture that we were not necessarily in favor of a few months ago, a lot of them have left the space and gone on to the next thing. However, for us that are quote unquote the OGs that are still in the space, and I feel weird saying that I'm an OG now because I never really saw myself that way, but I've been called that multiple times at this point. And the builders that are creating these different things, whether they're projects or doing the coding, some back end stuff, the not sexy stuff whatsoever, those are the ones that really stuck around in the space and are weathering the storm and just really starting to take advantage of the amazing things that are being built and really starting to set ourselves up to build the future. However, with the prices being very low and it has a much easier barrier of entry to get over to come into the space, we're starting to see a lot of newbies show up into the space. And of course, that sounds like a good thing, and it's great. We want more people into the space. However, there are some serious negatives, believe it or not. So today we're going to discuss the good and unfortunately the bad of all these new people that are now coming into the space during this time, without sounding like the old guy or old people just saying, you kids, get off the lawn. Well, no, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to actually speak about this and really highlight how we can facilitate these new people coming in to actually help to build a better culture than what we are currently coming out of. So the idea for this episode actually came, I was sitting in a space as I'm getting ready to leave work, and I always like to do that, just have some spaces playing in my ear while I'm doing different things during downtime and get a feel and a vibe of different projects and what have you. Now, I'm sitting there and I'm actually listening to the people that are running this particular space, speaking about this project that is currently in the mint phase. And it really shocked me that one of the people were speaking about all the different things that they plan to do as a leader within the community. And then they started to say something negative about roadmaps. So I was like, well, okay, this caught my attention. So now I really started to tune in, have to put in the second headphones and really focus on what's being said here. And what really shocked me is this person says that people that want the roadmap before the projects mints out are the people that are most likely just here to flip, and they're not here for the community. They don't want to build with us and don't want to be here. And I have to disagree with that 100%. But before I even get to the disagreeing part, he was then saying that the people that are the loudest in the Discord that are asking for the roadmap, I know they're not here to be a part of this amazing community. And then he goes on to really explain as to if the people were here for the community for the long run and all of that, it would not necessarily matter what a roadmap or anything of that nature is said as the plan as to how things are going. Now, from a business standpoint, I said this is absolutely ridiculous, because just imagine someone showing up to the bank asking for, let's say, $100,000 to start a business. And when the banker says, well, okay, sounds good. Well, what is the plan for this $100,000? What is your business? And then that person who's trying to take out the loan says, if you truly believed in me, you would not want to know what the plan was for that. And I want to borrow from a bank that has the vision and really sees what I'm trying to build here and wants to invest in me, without seeing some business plan and all the formalities of all of that stuff, and just truly believes in what I'm trying to do here. Now, that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but in many ways, that's basically what this space host just said. And I don't think he truly realized how that really sounds, because in his mind, he has created this narrative to say that if someone's asking for a roadmap before they mint, then they're not committed to the project. And that is just a different level altogether. So, of course, I'm just sitting here, although I completely disagreed with this, and this is really just raised my eyebrow at this point. I just wanted to feel the guy out. So as he's speaking, I start to realize that he is fairly unfamiliar with anything, because even when he was speaking about gas prices being high, I'm like, wait a minute, what is he talking about? Gas prices being high? This has been a great month, for gas prices. I saw gas down to 2. That is just unheard of. That was the first. I mean, I'm excited to see it below 10. which was crazy for the first time. I even tweeted about that, but to see it go all the way down to 2, I was like, wow, this is ridiculous. So anyways, hearing someone say now that the gas is high was just mind-blowing to me. Then I start to hear him speak about how gas sort of gets out of hand, and even when one of these major projects had some sort of land sale or something of that nature, I believe it was. These are his words, by the way. That's not me just forgetting what he said. Some sort of land sale or something of that nature, and it seemed to really clog up things, and gas went really high during all of that. So I'm starting to think, I'm like, okay, what is he talking about here? Then he goes on and on for a couple other minutes, and then he's trying to remember the name of the project. And when he finally came to the name of the project, I was shocked. He said, oh yeah, it was Basie, or didn't they have some sort of land sale? I said, okay. So this person does not necessarily know about the Bored Apes and the Other D land sale that basically shut down the Ethereum blockchain. Believe it or not, even though that might sound like it was years ago, that was just 3 months ago. That was the end of April going into May. And I covered that in episode 168. That was just a different time, right? So that was just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. The blockchain basically was complete gridlock. Like, just picture the worst traffic jam that you've ever seen in your life and then multiply that by 1 million, right? And that was basically what happened on the blockchain. Everything was at a standstill. Well, this person was not even in the space during that time. Now, this is not a knock. A lot of people are coming into the space. Now, I don't want to be like the only one here hanging out, doing all this stuff, talking to myself on the podcast. No, I want more people to come into this space. I want everyone to really experience this stuff, because that's where we're all going anyways. And the quicker we get there, the quicker it seems like I'm not just a crazy person that is going to commit my next decade or so into onboarding people into the space and just really uprooting all my life plans and everything and just going all in this space. So it definitely benefits me to have more people come in to the space as quick as possible. But just from a practical standpoint, you know, it's like having a cell phone. You might have the best cell phone coverage, you might have the best device, but if you're the only person in the world with a cell phone, well, how valuable is that really? So that's basically what we're trying to do here. We're trying to bring in people. So not only do these NFTs and the space actually has value, but it's going to improve everyone's life altogether anyways. So anyways, going back to this whole thing, yes, I want more people to come in, but there is a serious danger as to what's going to happen based on this conversation and what I was hearing in that space. It was basically being ran by a lot of leaders that were completely new to the space. They were promoting this project, very enthusiastic, and they were saying things like the roadmap are for people that don't really want to be a part of the community. They're saying things that were not informed about the blockchain, not even really knowing what was going on with the OG, the biggest project in the space that is just doing all sorts of crazy things, not familiar with all of that. So that's what's really coming in. People now at this low point of entry, the low barrier into entry, as cryptocurrencies are down, the price of NFTs are down, and gas is down, all of this stuff, it is allowing people to come in with fiat currency that might have just really heard about this stuff on a YouTube video or a podcast just like this. They're coming to the space now and quickly rising to the position of being a leader within a community, and they're holding spaces and trying to educate people, if you will, with just false things or not the most informed information, I guess you could say. So with that said, those are the negative things with what is possibly coming in. But then you have to remember too, as I open up this whole thing saying it is great that new people are coming in, and the people that were creating a negative atmosphere and bad culture in the space were flushed out during the whole bear market. They want to go make their money elsewhere. But just imagine now the new people that are coming in, seeing all of what's going on in this current time and space, and trying to adopt that and build a new culture with the information that they have here, and not really understanding the full landscape of things, not doing their full homework, not appreciating the space and the history that we went through, and looking at all the OGs. And this definitely makes me sound like the old guy, get off my lawn, you don't know what things were like back in my day, you need to show respect to this and that and so forth, and this is not music. I know I sound like that guy right now the way I'm explaining this, but someone coming into this space, considering that this is a very new space, we're still building things, Yet it moves so fast. So to understand what is going on, just look back a couple months, right? Just speak to a few people, hop around, observe some other projects. I mean, these people definitely did not do that. Now, I'm not knocking these people. They're new, they're enthusiastic. And yes, we all have our entry points. We all get enthusiastic or are gung-ho about whatever it is. You know, I came in on the Wax blockchain, and you couldn't tell me that Ethereum or any of these other chains had any kind of value because I was gung-ho about Wax, right? So I was there too. I fully understand that. And if you look at when you came into the space, whether it was on Solana, Tezos, Polygon, whatever it might be, you felt that way about that blockchain most likely. You got into your first project and you were gung-ho about that. Let's say you came in for NBA Top Shots, right? And you were all about that. And you could not see the value in profile pictures because, you know, you came in for collecting sports moments, things like that. So once you have that little taste and you become very enthusiastic and you're zealous about what you believe, it is very easy to come very preachy about that and not really be well informed and just box yourself into one way of thinking. So that is the danger of the new people coming in. So I think we have an even more responsibility to educate those people that are already in Web3 than we even do for the people that are way on the outskirts and might not be here for another year or two. The people that have already stepped in, it is one thing to invite them in, but once they come in, we have a huge responsibility to educate them. Tell them about all these different things as to what I just ran through right there. So they're not now becoming the leaders that are setting a future of just bad culture and misinformation and all of that stuff. And this is not even intentional. These are just uninformed people that just don't understand what was going on just a couple months ago, much more what was going on back in November or earlier, getting the appreciation for the punks and the apes and all of that stuff. And even when they're making statements like, well, this is a great project because X, this is the best because Y, and so forth, it's like, well, what are you comparing it to? You have 2.5 months of data. Like, you weren't even there in May. So how can you possibly say this is the best? I mean, I can't even say this is the best. Every day I seem to find a new project. At least I think it is a new project. Then I start to look through on Etherscan or whatever blockchain it is when I'm looking to see when this thing minted out. And it's like, wait a minute, this is a year-old project? How come this never came up on my radar before? How did I not know about this? This is amazing. Like, there is so much stuff out there that it's like, what? How on earth could this not be known? And these people should not really be judged. We shouldn't just bash them and say this is absolutely ridiculous, but just have grace with them, knowing that they're coming in, they're young, they're youthful. And I don't mean in real physical age because they might be 50, but what I mean is youthful in the space. And we as the elder statesmen and women, if you will, should go out of our ways to educate them and teach them this stuff. And I know it's impossible to teach someone that does not want to learn, but that's not what I mean. What I'm saying is reach out to them. Someone's in your community, whatever project that you might be a holder of, they want to step up to the plate and help to promote and hold spaces and do events and all sorts of things. Awesome. Empower those people. However, as a project holder or a project founder or as a member of a community that has been there for a while, you really want the best foot to go forward. So you want to put out a lot of energy in education and all of that stuff. But I'm not just going to go on and just ramble about all this stuff because at the end of the day, we as OGs, and I say we now, I'm inviting you into this, assuming that this is not your very first episode. If it is, welcome to the crew, and don't feel any way about me bashing the new people. No, you are here, you're listening to this information, you're listening to this content, so that means it already proves to me that you're someone who is seeking out information, and yes, continue on the path that you are, and anything that you could possibly listen to. I mean, honestly, I don't care if it is me, if it is someone else, because you might not like my analogies, you might not like everything that I bring in some references about Jamaica and New York and all of that stuff. You know, find the voice that really listens, find the voice that really speaks to you, or videos, whatever it is. Find the community that really resonates with you. You might not like the communities that I absolutely love and speak about in the project on this podcast. However, you might find something that is the perfect fit for you. And yeah, that is awesome. Just educate yourself once you get there and you find that. So with that said, speaking of OGs, you know, it always amazes me how Snoop Dogg, as now a 50-year-old rapper, has just reinvented himself, and he's in this Web3 space, and he is just just a force to be reckoned with. But if you are interested in hearing what I have to say about him, I'm going to actually write up a little thing on him, have him in the newsletter, which I put out on Thursdays or Fridays. I'm testing out both days to really see how the response is as far as how it's being read. But that is called Nifty Business Week. And I write a few thoughts and what have you and condense them. And tomorrow's issue, I'm going to be speaking about Snoop. And then also I have some news articles that I might not do a full episode about, or maybe it just wouldn't fill out enough time. I condensed those down into a very small, very readable, bite-sized nugget. Has the links back to the original article so you can go down that rabbit hole and really do some hardcore research. But that comes out absolutely free, niftybusinessweek.com. Or if you're a Twitter lover, just simply go to the top of my profile, which is right there in the show notes, and you can see the subscription button right there for free. Sign up for the newsletter. You can get that. So keep learning, keep building, and as usual, I just want to thank you for taking time to listen to this as we're learning and building together. So until next time, later. The Nifty Business Arrow is not investment advice. It provides insights and information within the space. As with anything, please do your own research before making a decision whether you're making an investment or a purchase.